Welcome to Founders Future, a podcast powered by Closures.io, where we dive into the journeys of innovative entrepreneurs and explore the road ahead for them and their companies. I'm your host, Michelle Saeed, and in each episode, we uncover the stories behind impactful ventures, the challenges faced along the way, and the strategies driving their future growth. Today, we're thrilled to have Jerry Newman joining us. He's the owner of Tech Titan, and he brings over 8 years of service expertise and a passion for digital marketing, leading companies to empower small businesses with lead generating websites, SEO, and exceptional customer support. We'll explore his unique journey, how Tech Titan is transforming online presence for contractors and service based businesses, and what the vision looks like for scaling this dynamic firm. So, with that being said, let's dive in. Jerry, welcome to Founders Future.
Thanks. I appreciate you having me.
Absolute pleasure having you on. Take us back to the beginning. What specific challenge within the digital marketing website development landscape, perhaps around lack of online visibility or ineffective websites, inspired you to actually launch Tech Titan?
So, Tech Titan started actually not too long ago. It was an evolution of a virtual assistant business that I had, which I started years and years ago. I had a pretty heavy background in customer service and then started freelancing, gaining clients. Those clients started asking me to do other things. And then most of those things involved digital marketing. And so I just learned as I went. I specifically work with trades, so like the construction, the HVAC, the plumbers, welders, that kind of thing. And there was a very big gap for their VAs because there were a lot of VAs that had never done of that type of work before. But I grew up working on a construction site. My dad owned a construction company I was very involved with. And so I brought the techie virtual assistant behind the scenes along with some of the knowledge of the industry. And yeah, it just blossomed from there and it turned into Tech Titan as I know it today.
Incredible. So, on that note, I'd love for you to dive into the nuts and bolts, especially with a lot of the work that you're doing, giving back to small businesses. What is the core offer? Really, how do you generate revenue as far as the website development? There's the SEO. I know there's some of those components. And how do you structure it for some of the clients that you work with?
So the website stuff is very standard. Usually it's just going to be like a one-time project to set one up. And then if they need something added to it later on, we would just give them a price for it at that point. The SEO is our biggest revenue driving thing. There's three-tiered packages. The packages essentially offer the same services. The difference between them is how aggressive the company wants to be with their SEO efforts. So it offers a higher volume of like content creation or backlinks or something along those lines. And it's really just based on I give my recommendation based on what their competitors look like, and then they have the option to just go right at it with my recommendation, or if they want to go with a smaller package, that's up to them. But yeah, we offer three different packages to fit everyone in a whatever budget they have.
Love that. So as far as really that core offer, it's primarily the SEO work that you're doing. I'm curious to learn a little bit about what made you want to niche down specifically into SEO and offering that as like the primary offering here.
I think it's because I see a lot of people that say that they know how to do SEO, but I see very few that actually offer their clients results. I think that there's a big problem in the SEO industry where you have to essentially convince your clients at this point that you're not going to rip them off because they've already worked with two, three other SEO agencies, spent a couple $1,000s, never saw anything from it. And so I liked the techie side of it. It's almost like a puzzle to put together, which I really enjoy. And that paired with actually having the knowledge to provide people with results is really what got me into it. I've invested a lot of time and money into learning SEO, so that had a lot to do with it.
Love it. So as far as like really building on that growth, the way in which you're getting in front of some of the clients to generate leads, what is that like right now? Is it ads, social media, referral, SEO, same thing that you're doing for your clients? How are you generating leads for your business?
So I have little things here and there. Outside of referrals, most of my leads come from optimized micro websites or something like that. I tend to stay very customer focused, so like results focused for my current people. And so I don't do a lot of marketing, honestly. Most of my stuff has just been built up from a referral or someone saw me online or someone came across a website that I own. those kind of trickle in here and there, but keeping the people that I have is the main focus. It's a lot easier to keep people than it is to find new ones. So I've always geared towards that and just let it build up slowly as I go.
Yeah, for sure. So as far as really scaling what you're doing here, wanting to really grow, what does that vision look like? Are you looking to build more predictability as far as like the lead gen side of things goes, maybe looking to add social media? What does that next step look like for you as a founder?
It's hard to say. So the past like 4 to 6 months, I've really focused on just like building systems. So like fulfillment is much easier at this point, and fulfillment that provides results for my clients, especially. So I am starting to want to focus on really driving the marketing side of things, gaining new clients and such. It's tough. The biggest challenge I found there is finding clients that know about SEO and are okay with my pricing. There's a huge gap with most of the people that I have to sell to. I also have to educate them on what SEO is and what I'm doing and things like that. And then a lot of people, like I'd say 8 out of the 10 of the referrals that I get probably just like ghost as soon as they see my pricing. So that's been a challenge. And it's also a reason I've also just decided to focus on providing actual clients results and not trying to tailor to every single lead that I get. I did that a lot back when I was a virtual assistant. I'd just take any amount of work that they'd give me, and it never went well. It was low retention. They were never happy with what we were doing or something like that. So I just focus on the people that I have and providing results. And then I'd like to ramp up the marketing, but it's tough to find the people that will pay my pricing, especially.
So on that, I'd love for you to kind of share more on, have you looked at experts, bringing in maybe like a marketing team to help out with the execution as far as like building out a lead gen system so that you can target the right types of audience? Or are you looking at new ideas there? Walk me through what that process is for you as a founder.
Yeah, I've explored a few different things. I guess the main thing I did was I want to say maybe a year ago, I worked with it was some company. It was like one of the hundreds of people that I get an email from per day that were like, we can scale your business and bring you 30 leads a month and whatever it might have been. I don't remember exactly what made me respond to this one, but they were one of those that was like, you only pay for the lead and such. And I guess after spending, it was it was $3,000 to $4,000 without actually booking someone. I finally was just like, I'm not doing this anymore. Those types of companies really seem to be more focused on, which obviously, because that's how they get paid, but they seem more focused on sending you a lead whether or not it's qualified.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was a tough thing to handle. I had a lot of hopes for that, and it just really didn't go anywhere after about 2 months and almost $4,000. So that was tough, but yeah, that's really all I've ever tried. Outside of that, I've always just let whatever comes to me come in and see how it goes.
Yeah, for sure. Especially with a lot of outsourced companies. I'm glad we're talking about this as a topic for our listeners. Like very cookie cutter approach. They don't take an in-house route where it's like, how can we start to build this internally and focus on your messaging and what resonates with your audience? It's more just a volume game for them at the end of the day.
Yeah,
Ultimately.
yeah, it's tough.
As far as like sales goes, what does that process look like? Are you a solopreneur right now in your business, handling the sales calls yourselves? Do you have a team of closers, setters? How's all of that set up currently with the sales?
It's all me. Even when I had people working for me, I still handled that part, and mostly because it requires a lot of knowledge of SEO to sell someone SEO. And so I've always handled that. Right now, with the website stuff, it's pretty simple. They'll call or they'll email me and say, hey, I need a site or I want to redo my current one or whatever it may be. And I'll give them some recommendations. I typically, if I can, I move them over to WordPress. I don't care what website builder you're using. Let's just do WordPress, please. And then, yeah, if they agree, I'll send them a price. If they like that, they get a service agreement and then we build the site. SEO is a little bit more in depth. We typically will have a discovery call and then I will do a pretty in-depth audit on their website and find like the three biggest like pain points that's causing them not to rank right now. And then that audit report gets tied in with another proposal and we email that over and then just wait to hear back essentially. There's maybe a follow-up or two in there depending on if I feel they were a good fit or not. But yeah, that's really it.
Okay. Yeah, no, sounds good. Really having a consultative approach, right? When it comes to like working with your clients, figuring out those pain points. And as a founder, how are you juggling everything on a day to day, wearing the hats, being the salesperson, handling fulfillment? How is that right now?
It requires a lot of caffeine. Yeah, it's tough. I think that this time last year it was a lot worse because
Mhm.
I really hadn't given myself any like systems or processes to follow. I was just diving in and just doing whatever I felt needed to be done at that moment. But I've really focused on essentially as I'm doing the person's audit, I'm building like a checklist of where I'm going to start and then just go down from there. And so if they book, I already have a step by step of what I'm going to do to their website. And I really don't even have to think about it. I just go in and do it. That has saved a lot of time and a lot of headache. But yeah, it's still, if I could find someone that has knowledge of SEO to sell the SEO, that would obviously be really helpful for me. But it's tough to find people that can do that, unfortunately.
Yeah, having an expert coming. So that's where your mind is at. It's like delegating this, finding a closer, maybe a setter to kind of help
Yeah,
expand this so you can focus on more of that founder level work from what it sounds like.
yeah, yeah, definitely.
As far as your experience with finding talent, it's something that is oftentimes like tricky. And what have you done so far? What forums have you tried as far as like finding talent, good fits? What's that experience like?
I've really never done a whole lot. The only time I ever hired people was it's been a couple of years back since I've had to hire anyone. And it was essentially I just set up a application on my website and
Mhm.
posted it in my local area and LinkedIn and stuff like that and just let people submit an application. And then from there, I reviewed the applications and just found who I thought was a good fit. And it was really what I was hiring for was very entry level. So it was really just based on who I thought had a decent attitude, had a willingness to learn more, and that sort of thing. And I found a couple of good fits, and they worked for me up until I one of them went on maternity leave and then was like, I don't want to work anymore,
Oh,
which I was like, good for you, that's cool. But the other one stayed with me until I transitioned out of the virtual assistant customer service. We almost had the call center going at one point. It was pretty crazy. But yeah, that that's really all I've ever done. It's been a very simple process of just find someone who's willing to work, willing to show up, willing to learn, and that's really all I needed. I can teach outside of that.
yeah, but I love the way your mind's thinking about scaling, right? As a founder, especially, you know that you need systems in place, you need processes, right? At a high level. So as far as like the bottlenecks side of things goes, that's really what it is. Finding like the right types of ICP, figuring out how to bring in a closer or setter to help on that sales side. So you
Yeah.
can get back into CEO seat from what it sounds like.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much I have the processes. I could even if just out of nowhere we scaled exponentially as far as clients go, it would take a lot of clients for me to not be able to fulfill the work myself. And
Yeah.
with one, two other people,
Mm.
it's really unlimited as to how many clients I could handle. I've spent a lot of time on processes, which is good and has also caused other things to slow down. But yeah,
Mm.
that's
Love.
definitely the goal.
So, with that being said, what's the vision then for this year as far as performance milestones, revenue targets, impact goals for Tech Titan in 2025? I'd love for you to paint that picture for us.
So like by the end of the year, I think I'd like three more clients. And
Mhm.
once I have three more clients, I could very comfortably hire someone that works full time to come in. And I'd really like to just delegate a little bit at a time, really teach them SEO, have them learn everything that I know essentially, so that there's two of us. And then depending on our strengths and our weaknesses, maybe the other person takes over SEO and I could focus on sales or vice versa, whatever. And then within a year, I'd like another six additional clients on top of that. And past that, sky's the limit. I have no idea. But that's the short-term goal right now is to get enough that I can comfortably bring someone in and then scale from there.
Yeah, yeah. Just the goal is now scaling, growing, creating reputable results from a client perspective, especially as you're building systems. So I actually want to get your thoughts on this as we're in the lightning round. How do you see the digital marketing industry evolving in the coming years, especially with a lot of your focus on SEO and customer service? How is Tech Titan positioning itself for that type of future?
The biggest thing I'm doing right now is preparing for the AI mode in Google and like these generative engine
Mm.
things. That's definitely it. The more I read about it, the more there's going to be a lot of overlap as to the people ranking in traditional search results are probably not going to have a terribly hard time ranking in the AI type stuff, but there's definitely going to be some differences. So just learning the I think they're calling it GEO, generative engine optimization, I believe is what that stands for. And just preparing for that, kind of that shift in how search is done and performed and how results show up and things like that. That's the biggest focus for me right now.
Amazing. And if you can go back in time and ask your younger self starting out, what's the best piece of advice you'd give to yourself if you can go back?
I probably would tell my younger self to focus on client results a lot sooner than I did. I was very focused on new client acquisition when I was like a VA and stuff like that. And it was really just more trouble than it was worth. As soon as you get another client, one of them drops off, and it was just this like never-ending cycle. And so I'd probably tell myself to specialize in SEO a lot sooner too, because that took way longer than it needed to. For a long time, I just took whatever came to me. So yeah, probably those two would be the biggest thing. Focus on your clients and focus on getting really good at one specific thing.
Yeah, no, I think that's powerful and it's valuable advice for our listeners today. Is really niching down, specializing in a certain area before you can go out there and start systematizing and scaling.
Yeah.
And on one last note, before we do wrap up, for the listeners, entrepreneurs, founders looking to follow in your footsteps, what's one tool or resource, maybe like an SEO technique or customer service strategy that's been like a game changer for you in your business?
I would have to give a lot of my credit to the Gotch SEO Academy. It's founded by Nathan Gotch. I watched him on YouTube for years, and then I finally signed up for his academy a while back, and that was the turning point. That was when my SEO knowledge, just everything started to click. So yeah, that if you're going to do SEO, if you're going to charge people for SEO, learn it. And if you want to learn it, find Nathan Gotch would be my recommendation, but just find a coach that works for you that already knows the industry, already has the knowledge that you need and learn as much as you can from them.
Amazing. Yeah. No, the best thing to do is finding a consultant, finding a coach to guide you along that way. On that note, that wraps up in another inspiring episode of Founders Future. Jerry, what's the best way for the listeners as well to get in touch with you and work with you potentially?
Just my website, techtitanva.com, or you can email me support@techtitanva.com, or you can call me. I like talking on the phone. It's all on my website.
Beautiful. Thank you so much for joining us today and being a guest on Founders Future. We're looking forward to seeing your success, and I know you're going to continue to climb from this point forward. To our listeners, if you enjoyed today's episode, of course, don't forget to subscribe to Founders Future wherever you listen to your favorite podcast. You can also check out Jerry. Of course, he did mention it on his website to explore more about their marketing services, and you can follow him on LinkedIn. We'll tag his profile and website in the summary below. And you can also visit us over here at closers.io for more resources and insights. We're dedicated to helping businesses scale through trained appointment centers and world-class sales and marketing systems. So until then, everyone, keep climbing, and we'll see you all on the next one.